G'day guys, I'm the captain and welcome to Drunk Aussie Guy. And today, well, if you can't tell, it's Christmas. Well, it actually is Christmas. It's Christmas early evening here, and I'm just this is where we were when we left off. Now this week we've done a lot of stuff. We have been doing a bit of exploring, we've been doing a bit of taming, we've started sussing out some base locations. I was going to do the boat only, but then we sort of decided we're going to have to tame some, we're going to take Rexes into the monkey boss, so we're going to need a bit of room to spread out for the breeding there. So we're going to make a base, and we've been looking for a base spot. We found a couple of possible probables. Now what I want to do very quickly before we get into or too deep into anything is show you a bit of the map. I'm sure you've already seen it. It's been out for a week and a half now, so see, this is what I'm talking about. Hang on a sec, watch this. Let's see if I can get it. No? Anyway, that's the big tower there. Everybody's seen that. You can actually get inside there and you could build a base here. It's not ideal because you can't, I mean, you could leave your Rexes outside. You can't build anything on these. These look fantastic. They give you the insulation effect. All the caves are like this, but they that's down to a cave down there. I've been doing a bit of a look, and we'll come back and we'll have a play around with that once we've got something to run the cave with. But yeah, you can't put anything on the floor, so you've got to actually put a floor in. So it doesn't give you much room. I mean, you want to do a metal run, you drop your Anki full of metal, you've got to carry it in one handful at a time. Nah, not interested. But there's some really good spots everywhere on this map to... That's that cave under there. That's what causes that. Anytime you get near a cave on this map, that's what happens. So, I mean, there's a lot of, small base, PvP, PvE type places where you could set up. You could set up over here on these rocks. This would be a great little PvE, solo base spot here. You could spread out a little bit on those. They're actually bigger than they look. You can see there's a fair bit of room on these, and you can spread yourself out between the three of them. So that's a good spot. I mean, everywhere you go, there's going to be a good spot. You can set up on the flats near the beach. You can set up on any of these little plateaus and ridges and things. The whole map lends itself to getting creative. I mean, you could go set up the top up there. Nothing's really flat. That's the problem on this map. There's no real flat areas. Sorry. Introductions, that's rude of me, I know. I'm sorry. Sorry, the introductions, once we let that, there's another cave straight in under there where we just flew over, and that's what caused that little bit of garbage. Introductions, this is Rosie on my shoulder, and Green Hornet. We're flying around. This is not our first Pteranodon. We found Green Hornet, 189 I think, tamed him up. I mean, even up here's a reasonable spot. There's not a lot sort of spawns over here, but it's not really flat. I mean, you'd have to do a couple of a multi-tiered thing. I'm not real good with that sort of build. I mean, you could build down here, I suppose. Nothing to stop you sort of clearing those rocks out and spreading out this whole area in there. You could do that very easily. I mean, it's all safe. You're sort of close to everything. But yeah, we actually took the boat around all the way around. We're right down the bottom of the map at the moment with the boat. But because of the leads, you have to hug the coastline all the way around. It makes it a little bit interesting. You could set up on anywhere up in there. It's all a little bit hazy. Oh, there's another cave down there. We'll get a bit of lag if I get too close to that. But yeah, here we go. I mean, you could set up in under this. I mean, yeah, things might fall off on you up there, but you could set up in under here. This would be a great little base spot for someone. It's close to everything. I mean, I have seen a couple of Rexes around here, so you have to be a bit careful with that. And I think whether it was the creator of the maps doing, or Wildcard's doing, or a combination of the two, everywhere you think there's a good spot to set up, there's nasties around. Rexes, Allos, Carnos, they're everywhere. They just sort of, they'll spawn in. I think they've really done a good job with the spawns so far anyway, as far as there's not a lot of real safe areas. One of the things I was thinking of doing with a base was to put a water platform or a couple of water platforms together, and that means you can basically go wherever you want. And I've got a couple of spots in mind if we decide to do that, where you could set up, you could spread out, you can put your tames, and you're pretty safe because nothing will be able to get to you out on the water. And I don't just mean out on the water out in here. I mean, there's a couple of little mini lakes that you can get to. I mean, look, there's some more flattish area where you could spread out, but I've seen some nasties up here. See, there you go. There's an alpha raptor, hyperaptors. So provided that you set up your defences from a PvE point of view, I'm talking. I'm not going to talk about PvP. I'm terrible at PvP and I don't really enjoy it. So I'm not going to say this is a great spot for a PvP base. Look at all this. I don't know. I'm not the person to be listening to when it comes to those sort of things. But for PvE, that's a big open area there. And if you, I mean, I don't know how to do it, but you could, oh, sorry, Greenhorn, too busy talking. And you could set yourself up there pretty easily if you know what you're doing. So, yeah, I'll just get some stamina. Wet the whistle, we'll have another sip of the drink. So, yeah, you can see over there, there's another flat spot up top there. I mean, if you're talking about small little solo PvE, hut, that's a nice little hut size spot there. Pretty easy. I mean, there's another one straight across over there. A couple more. I mean, there's a lot of creative people in this game with bases and buildings, and I imagine you're going to see tons and tons of building content where people have built. Look, there's another one. All that whole area there. But I think you'd find if we stuck around there long enough, we'd find some bites. But one spot it's growing on me quite a bit. I mean, what is that? There's a cave around here somewhere, and it does that. But one spot, and I think you would have seen it at any of the trailers on this, and I'm sure other people have already built on it, is the ice castle up here. I've already been having a look, and again, you can't build directly on the floor. You have to put some foundations down. Now, there is a way to lower foundations so that it's not so obtrusive, but I haven't seen any spawns up here, so I'm thinking this mightn't be a bad spot. You've got this whole area out here that you could spread out, or you could use it for your harvesting. You've got all this area in here. It's all fenced off. I mean, down here when that renders in, you'll see that there's a, there we go, there's a spot where you can walk your dinos up. You just gate that off in case something does walk in there. You've got all these little towers, all these little spots everywhere. I mean, you can go up, set up little, if you have a tribe of sorts, you could go, give everybody their own little tower. You've got this massive big area here. Again, you can't build directly onto here with things like Fabricator and that. You have to actually foundation it. The good news is you don't have to worry about walls. Or I mean, you might have to put some gates up and things like that if you're a bit worried about stuff walking in and out. But it's a pretty handy spot, because I was thinking along the lines of popping in your industrial forge here. That way you can go and do a metal run with your RG and your anchor. You come in, you drop them there, bang. You put up a couple of vaults up along the outside here to store your stuff in. You've got your more towers, another tower. You've also got a ton of room in here, and I've just thrown down a couple of things in here while I was doing some exploring. But you have to put down foundations in here, and that's not too hard. I had a muck around in single player, and you can do it. But there's the bottom layer, there's the middle layer, and there's a top layer. You can chuck all your flyers up here. So I'm liking this area. As far as the Rexes and things go, ouch. I reckon you could pop them. Where do I come from? Down here somewhere? Was this where we were going, Rosie? Down here somewhere? Aha, yep. So yeah, I'm thinking Rexes and breeding outside. It's pretty safe. There's a fair bit of room here. You can line them all up. You've got tons of room. So I'm liking this spot. It does get cold, and I've got some fur armor just in case. But, I mean, there's even all these ruins over here. You can spread out in and do what you want. We won't probably need that much space. There's far too much space for us for what we want to do on this server. But straight over past the other side of the blue ob, there's a ton of metal and crystal. There's some obsidian not too far away. There's I know where some black pearls are. I don't know, I haven't found normal pearls yet, but that's the spot that's growing on me. We've actually started to set up a base. Well, we set up a base, and then we started to set up a nut. We did no too many dinos around. We'll try and take off and set up in another cave. So, but right there you can see a couple of sort of flattish spots, and they are flattish, but they're not flattish. So you could literally set up on any of those spots. You could set up anywhere along there. There's actually beavers over there, so you can get some cementing paste. There's a ton of raptors and carnos and rexes and stuff, which is excellent because we want to tame rexes. So the more rexes we can get our hands on, the better. So here's a brilliant spot. Look how flat this is. But again, carnos, alpha raptors, alpha carnos, alpha rexes, all sorts of things. If you could, I suppose gate it off, you'll be fine. And I've found there are a ton of caves on this map, mostly artifact caves, and there's one right here which I'm finding them slowly. Every time I see a cave, I go in, and if it's not a short little cave, then I'm assuming it's an artifact cave of sorts. Have to go down there. But I mean, even up here, there's big open areas, but they're all all infested. So anyway, we went all the way around. We brought around the raft all the way around here, and there are some islands out here that are possible probables as well. So just bear with me a sec. I'm just going to get a bit more stamina. Alrighty. Now, I believe there's a couple of underwater caves as well. I'm not going to worry about them. Not yet. But these islands over here, they'd be great spots for PvP, or PvE I should say. Oh, what's going on here? Oop, hit the wrong button, sorry. And yeah, I mean there is stuff over here. I think I've seen some carnos on most of them. So it's not perfect again, but there's plenty of room to spread out. There's a little bit of metal on most of them. It's not super flat. That's actually a big island over there that we're heading towards. I mean, every single one of these small islands is a potential for that. The trouble with these here, and why we've sort of ruled them out, apart from the Carno things, is we're right over here. Now, we're not quite as central as we want. We want to sort of be more in over that way. At the moment, our I'm going to call it a temporary base, is down where we're pointing that way. And it's not ideal for exploring the map. Not until at least we get some wyverns or something like that. So I'm not really sold. I mean, you could set up over here. You could set yourself up in a corner of this map and not worry about the rest of it and explore away. I mean, right there, you could put a metal platform base. What do you call it? Metal water platform, something. Yeah, you can put them out over here. These are all little islands and some slightly bigger islands, and it's huge the amount of options you've got for a base. But we want a base that's a little bit more central. We're never going to get perfect central. The only real sort of middle one is that Redwoods one, the castle on the Redwoods, and you've all seen that. And it's terrible because it's just got redwood spawns right through it. It's short of pillaring or foundation spamming the whole lot of it, and that looks terrible. We're not interested in that. I mean, again, here we go. I mean, that big island over there, it's got plenty of metal. I have seen a couple of griffins over there, which we want to get our hands on, definitely. That's a massive goal. With the slightly higher levels that we've got for the spawns, that's where we're going. And oh, here we go. Here's the first of the, not the first of, it's another landmark. There is a name for this, and you can find it on the wiki. This is like a little, like a Roman bath sort of thing. So I mean, you could set up over here. You could make this your own. When you talk about water for your base, you could put water right there. But they've done an amazing job with this map as far as keeping some interest of things. Okay, see, look, heaps of stuff. If you enjoy your RP on these type of servers, or on this game for these type of things, there's so much ammunition for you, just built into the landscape. Here's another spot for you. It's a flattish spot. You could set up here, but again, a little bit further away from where we want to go. I'm not going to go up onto the other hill of other island over there with that. This was a potential. This is one I like the look of. It's nice and flat. Here gives you a bit of room to spread out. It's a drop off there, so things can't really. Oh, you can get up over here, I suppose. But it's good. It gives you a bit of something to build in this little cave here. You've got a little bit more room out here. But it's cool. I mean, I could see somebody putting a little PvP or PvE base in there. I mean, again, I probably should stop talking about PvP because I have no idea. But there's a gazillion spots over on those islands, on the little one, the medium-sized one, that big one over the back there. We're coming up to the first spot that we thought we would set up on, but there's too many dinos. There's a couple of massive spawns of stegos. There's a ton of dillos. Again, not horrible, but yeah, I don't want to be mucking around with. I want to try and find somewhere where there's you don't have to worry about the dinos. And there's another cave up here somewhere that we're coming up close to. It's an artifact cave, I believe. I think it's somewhere in underneath one of these waterfalls. If you've probably seen it already, but up here, this whole spot, if you see it, I've seen a couple of videos and they've cleared this out, and it's huge how much room there is up here. But again, we've got too many spawns. See, snake. I'm going to have to deal with that because it's going to chase me. Down here to our first little base that we had. And the reason why we thought we'd move out of here is because of this very thing. Yeah, we could put up walls and stuff. Where'd he go? Oh. Don't mess with the Green Hornet. You chucked that poo at him, Rosie. That's what he gets. So yeah, we after seeing a few spawns and that sort of thing up here, I don't want to muck around. I mean, this is a beautiful design too. This was one of the players I'm playing with, Ruby, and she's got a bit of a style about her builds rather than my builds, which are terrible. A barn, you've seen the barn if you've been watching these videos. You know how unimaginative my builds are. So we decided we were going to move from here, and the first spot that opened up was it was a cave, and it's a beautiful cave, and I would be absolutely brilliant except for one little thing, and that's you can't walk dinos into it. You can't even walk in yourself. You have to crouch in, and that's a massive pain. And the more that I'm doing, the more I'm not really digging it. So, yeah, I'll leave that open for the moment. So, yeah, you're nice little cave comes down in here. You get somewhere in here, and you get to this spot, and you have to crouch. So, if you've got an Anki full of metal, you get your Anki up as close as you can. We found a kind of a workaround. You can sort of sit here. You can just sort of go backwards and forwards. You pop them into the boxes. You cryo your Anki. You pop. It's a pain. It's double and triple handling. And we were going to build here, and we're going to have. I mean, it's such a beautiful spot. We're going to have to. Hang on a sec. I might just get this camera up. Okay, so. Yeah, I mean, you've got this one big room here, absolutely huge, but that's not the best part. I mean, obviously it's a great big spot, I know, but there's another little passageway here, and if you haven't seen this one already, it's a great cave, and I can see somebody with PvP or well, I mean, imagine with PvP they could set up in here, and they've got that, but it's massive. You've got this huge second chamber. There's a little bit of crystal, as much rock and fibre as you want, but no, that's not all. Look what else we've got for you today, Johnny. We've got another one. So you can set up your main base in here. Look at all this space. Absolutely huge. Put your gigas, breed some gigas in here. Whatever you want to do. It's massive. But that choke point, from a PvE point of view, is a massive pain. Oh, I'm really disappointed because this is obviously super safe. You've got enough room, you can spread out, you can put your main building over there. We leave this, we were going to leave this so that we could always get berries and have the crystal spawning in there. But yeah, I'm not sold on this now because of that choke point. So I like the ice castle up there. I like the idea of a metal ocean platform. Is that what it is? Metal ocean platform? So I'm thinking we might pick everything up here and move, but we'll get everything set up first. But, yeah, let's get back outside and we'll keep going. Okay, we're outside that cave now, and it's a good spot. Heaps of metal up there. Hang on a sec. Gamma. Okay, better. That's where we've just come from over there, those islands that we're talking about. There's the desert not too far down there, and that little pikey. Oh, that's what we'll go and check out this castle. I mean, there's tons of metal. You've got all the stuff you want up here. This was another spot we were looking at originally, and I'm not entirely against this one now, but it has a couple of drawbacks, and we'll get to that in a second. But this is pretty cool. It's not as big as I'd like, but it's completely cut off around the outside, with the exception of here up along the mountains. Now you can see there is a bit of metal there. So a heap of metal right here. So as long as you don't build too close to it, that'll keep respawning. So, but up the top of that mountain, hang on a sec, I'll show you. Sorry about that. But up on this mountain, there are occasionally I've seen raptor spawns up on here, which means they will have a tendency to want to walk off down here. Now hopefully they run all the way down the bottom there, but they might bounce along up here. There's another bit of metal. They might just sort of walk off the cliff and into the backyard. So you'd have to finish all this off, and that might just mess with those spawns. Or you could come into here and say, all right, well, we'll more metal. Hang on, where am I going? So we might just can I get in there? We might just make this our thing, and fog's not making it any easier. Okay. Yeah, we might just concentrate on the back. Obviously not prepared. I'll have to fix that before we get too much further in. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. A PvE base for a small tribe, most definitely. There's a bit of room up here, and I think I have to walk in here. And I haven't got the torch. I'll have to make the torch again. But there's a bit of room for you to spread out up here for a small little, you know, solo or duo tribe type thing. Sorry that there's no light. I'll go and fix up this torch before we get any further into the tour. But yeah, you could have a bit of fun with this. But I'm not sold on it. We want to spread out. We want Rexes. So yeah, it's not going to work here. So just need some metal. Sorry, some stone. That yeah, I'll be back in a minute. So yeah, that's whatever castle I said that was. It's cool. Now I have been over to the desert. That's where we got the Yankee. I'm not going to take you over there to have a look around yet. We'll get to that at some stage in the future. We're going to go, and there's a cave over there, so we'll get to that at some stage. But I'm going to quickly move on to the next base location, the next point of interest, so to speak. I mean, there's a whole heap of those little ruins and stuff, and I'm still finding a few of them. But I will bring you back in a second, I think. We're moving along, we're motoring pretty quickly here at the moment. That's that metal mountain we just came from. Yeah, boats. Yeah, I'll bring you back in a sec. Okay, we're nearly to where I wanted to go, but I wanted to just quickly point out a couple of spots. There's that little island there, which again, from a small PvE point of view, you could set up there very quickly. There's this whole little island. Oh, what do you call these things? Peninsula? Yeah, that'll do. Peninsula. This whole little peninsula up here, it doesn't look very big from the sky, but there's plenty of room. You can see the size of the Brontos there. And unfortunately, Brontos means Rexes, so occasionally you got to see a Rex here, I think. But there's a huge amount of space right there. You could set up a nice little base anywhere up in here. A nice little base. This whole little point out here, that's pretty shallowish water all the way there. I mean, that is actually, hopefully nothing comes and wants to eat us. Whoop. But this is pretty shallow water. So you've got this whole area here that you could set up a little base on as well. I'd like that, but again, it's a little bit further away from where we want to be. We're there. We want to be further in towards the middle of the map. So this is, whilst that's still a good spot, it's not quite what we want. We've actually thought about setting up over in the desert, but again, that sort of goes against exactly what we were toying with, which was close to the middle of the map. Excuse me. So we could get everything done a bit quicker, especially when we're trying to hunt good level X's. My next stop is... no, we'll go up... Yeah, you're right, Rosie. We were going this way. We'll come back over there. So we'll just head back over here. I'll be back in a sec. Okay. Now, that's where we were over there. We're now over here. Now, this is what I like to call Metal Mountain, and I think that cave, it's an artifact cave there. Now, I'm not suggesting we set up a base here, because obviously aloes and things, but there is a ton of metal up here. Absolute ton. When I say a ton, I mean there's obviously some. There's some there. There's some up here. Look at all that. Look at all that metal. And it's everywhere up around the top up here. Look at that. Look at that. Metal. Coming out your ears. More there. Some more up here. Look at it all. Metal. 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 Everywhere. All up on this mountain. I mean, technically, there is a spot out over there you could set up for a small base, or even right there, but no, I don't want. I'm not interested in that. But there's a little bit of obsidian, so there are plenty of spots you could eke out, and I'm sure we're going to see in the next few months talented builders. Not me, obviously. I mean, technically, more metal all the way up that mountain. This little island out here, you can walk across that, so it's not isolated from dinos, of course. But this would be a great spot to set up. And I actually was pretty partial to this for a long time after I saw it the first time. This whole area could be set up for a PvE base. In fact, I'm still, to this minute right now, haven't ruled it out. Water. As much water as you want. You're close to, well, I mean, obviously metal's right up there. You've got all the wood and stuff and stone you could throw a stick at, figuratively and literally. Brontos, before I would settle down here for any length of time, I would want to make sure that no Rexes spawn. But yeah, this whole area would be a great PvE base. I like that. I mean, I still like that. Access for your boat, although that's deep water there, so yeah, it leads. Now we're getting into some more dangerous stuff. Well, it's actually not too bad down this end. I've only seen a couple of raptors and a Carno, so it's not huge. But this is a spot I found that I really like over here. And if you haven't seen this before, this would be a spot that I would head to if a lot of those other spots weren't taken. I mean, obviously, this whole area up here, it's nice. There's multiple little small spots. You could spread out up here, and we're going to have a look at this spot in here in a sec. But this whole area up here, have a look at this. This is great. It's not quite flat. You can see it's a little bit bumpy, but there's a massive amount of space there for that. Hang on a sec. We're going to get some stamina. We'll be back in a sec. Alrighty. Truth be told, I'm taking a few breaks as often as I can so I can have a quick drink. So you're not here listening to me drink. But how cool is this? Have a look at this. This nice little... I mean, if you're a bit worried, you could spike wall that off. It's got a nice little hidey hole back here. You could set up something in. I don't know. I'm not that creative. But it's pretty big. You've got two ways in, obviously, except for the big hole in the sky there. There's that little way in there. You've got some little crystal on tap. Yeah, I think so. It's deceptive, isn't it? Oh, we can't get through. Oh no. Yes, we can. It's one of those false walls, like a two-way mirror sort of thing. It's not fooling anybody, but you can either open it up and use it as a bit of extra space. This is the other way in down here, and it just comes straight out down here. So I really like that spot. It's close to everything as far as resources go. No, that's a Bronto. That's not a Rex. Is he trying to... No, that's not a get in. Hey! Sorry about that. But this is a cool spot. I like this. So you could use that, you could use all of that, and all that. There's a heap of room. From a PvE location, I like that. I would suggest that this is going to be a popular PvE spot just for how much room you've got. And in the couple of times I've been over here, I haven't really seen anything nasty. Not a Rex, not even a Raptor. So I don't know whether they don't spawn here. I'd need to see the spawns once they get decoded and popped into the wiki before I would lock myself into being too safe there. But, I mean, there are beaver dams over here. There's all sorts of stuff. That's actually a nice little spot over there. You could build out in the middle of that. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of islands over there, but there's baryonyx. If you're ever looking to tame a baryonyx, this is your spot. There are heaps of them over in that area over there that we found. But I digress. We're getting ahead of ourselves. All these spots, fantastic. You will see a couple of nasties up in here from time to time. Plenty of space to spread out. But you're in a corner of a map here, so it's a little bit harder to get to stuff if you want to be exploring. Look over this. Oh, nice. So yeah, I like it. I like those couple of spots that we've seen. We're right on the east-ish side of the map, and you can see how much open space there is here. Up there, you could build up over there and up over there and all that, but I'm not sold on it. Once that renders in, you'll see that's actually redwoods that we're coming up to over there. We're not going to go with the redwoods straight away. It'll render in a sec. It's going to render. It's going to render. There we go. This map is horribly optimized as far as that goes. Every other map that I've been on, there's nothing like that, particularly with the PS5. So, yeah, I mean, with that water, and you can see that rendered in, there's a ton of spots up here. Heaps of water, nice and open. Again, I think gigas. I haven't seen one, but I think if it's like the Highlands on Ragnarok, this is where you're going to see gigas. So, oh yeah, Maywings. I forgot they were on this map, or I heard that they were on this map, but okay. So that's a first, a Maywing down here. I'm not sure how to tame those, but I wouldn't mind getting one, or getting a couple of them. They do a thing with their eggs, where they pop out eggs of all different types, from basic all the way up to extraordinary. Now we're not far away. We may as well have a look at it. I'll show you what I mean. So just bear with me. I'm going to get some stamina and have a drink. These horses will be fine to cover. Okay. Now, the one spot that everybody has seemed to fall in love with, that you've seen it on the trailers, it's over here somewhere. It shouldn't be too hard to find. It's bloody huge. Is this Castle Ruins something? Again, I'll try and put the name up. I don't know. I can't remember all these names of these places. But this is about as, if you're looking for a ruins, an established spot, it's about as close to the middle of the map as you're going to get. So I can imagine this being a go-to spot for people, particularly bigger tribes, because they'll spread out. They'll put the foundation spam down here to stop the spawns. But for me, that ruins it. I mean, it looks gorgeous. Exactly, Rosie. I'm just getting to that. The trouble is it's basically redwoods, minus the couple of big trees. They're only little trees. They're not the big trees. And it's redwood spawns. It's terror birds. That's everything else you can think of. But it's great. I mean, There we go, there's a Kano underneath us. All of these spots, all these towers, you could set them up, you could put your floor foundations in and have all sorts of fun and games. It's huge, absolutely huge. There you go, you can set up in here. This could be your main spot. I think you can get inside. They got all the little huts that are. This was the village before you got into the. You went through the main gates here into what would have been. I can imagine that being the big castle. There, where all the rich people hung out. But this would be cool. From an RP perspective, it would be brilliant. Or maybe. Can you get in here? Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you could have a lot of fun from an RP perspective. Yeah, you could have a heap of fun with it, but you have to literally knock everything down, pillar the guts out of it. No, it's not for me. Oh, what's that? I mean, look, you've got all these little houses. I think that's probably a bit bigger than a house. Was it the stables? Wood. What is that? Is that a... This looks like a church of something. Could have been a church or a... Anyway, I mean, even in here, I mean, you could... a small, solo... I'm not mentioning PvP, but I could imagine this would be a spot that you could hold up in, or not. Again, don't listen to me. I'm not a PvPer. But yeah, it's not what I'm wanting. You can't really spread out here. So I'm going to. Yep, no, we're done with that spot. We're not going back. I'm going to shoot across to another spot that I found. And remember, I mentioned we wanted to try ocean platform base. Or maybe put 2 or 3 together. I found a spot that would handle that and not be out in the ocean. So just bear with me. We're going to shoot over there and have a quick look. Okay, that's you can't quite see it. That's the Redwoods ruined castle there. Red Ob. There is Wyvern trenches up here, and this big lake. Have a look at this. This is awesome. Now, I've tried this in single player. You can easily fit 4 ocean platform bases in a cube or a square form there, all joined together. So easily 2, worst case scenario 4, but I wouldn't put 4. The best I'd put is 2, because there are nasties that spawn up here. I've seen Alpha Rex, I've seen Allos. So that means they're actually spawning up on this mountain here on the inside. And they can swim across and they can take bites. So you'd have to turret up whatever you're going to do just in case. I mean, technically you could build here. You could do a nice little over the top of the waterfall platform. Oh, those geysers. Yeah, they're fun. In single player, when I was mucking around over here with the platforms, I went and thought, oh, what is that? I walked up to it. I thought I was going through the top of the map. But here's the wonderful thing about this lake. If you haven't seen it yet, and I'm just looking for a spot to put down. All right. The reason I love this spot is in here. Have a look at that. Can you see what that is out there? Black pearls. Look at them all. Fucking hundreds of them. Yeah, I'm heavy. Hang on a sec, I'm going to have to dump that. Yeah, look, that's terrible. Wasting black pearls. But have a look at them. You can't quite see it on the screen there, but there are dozens. Dozens. If you want to look for black pearls on this map, that's it. This is the spot for you. So we are... Oh, here we go. Yeah, I know, I know. I'd lose myself in the bloody empty parking lot, get lost. So I was, I mean, obviously we're not going for a long-term server here. There we go. There's some scorpions up there. But a couple of metal platform bases up in here. We'll put a couple of turrets up on just in case something wants to swim out and try and bite something. But I like this because I mean, obviously there's water, there's trees, metal. We'll show you in a sec. That's where we are. That isn't too much worse off than that. It's closer to the middle of the map than the ice castle cave. And you've got, yeah, no, I'm just getting to that, Rosie. Metal and crystal. If you need to get some metal and crystal, it can't be too far away. It's not as good as Metal Mountain that we showed you before, but there is some metal over here. Now that is actually a wyvern trench on our left, so you've got to be a little bit careful about how close you get. But there's some in there, and then there's a little bit more over there. Oh, we're going to get some rain and stuff, so I'm going to be limited in what I can show you there. But up that is actually the wyvern trench. Now, so far, I've been fine to get to that. I think we can get to that little bit. No, we can't. There we go. There's one right there. If you're lucky, you might be able to get to that. But the upside is, if we've got a metal platform base and we decide we want to put down some turrets, some auto turrets, we can just fly them over the top and we're done. Now there was one other spot, and we're not going to be able to get to it before it gets fog and rain, so we're going to head back. We might just about call this. Oh god, hang on a sec. I'm just going to try and find somewhere quiet. Alright, quiet is not the right word, but at least we're somewhere sort of, you know, reasonably stable. So again, all that way out over there, right up in that top corner, there's a couple of good spots. But again, you're right in the top corner. That's where we. Oh god, you can't see a fucking thing here. That green orb, that mountain straight in between Green Hornet's pointy bit of his head. That's where we're set up at the moment. Redwood's castle there. Ice castle over there. Yeah, I'm sort of liking this spot, but we're going to have to do some work. We're going to have to sit down and nut it out as a tribe what we want to do, because the goal is Rexes. Now, there are a ton of Rexes up around here as well. So this is a notorious Rex spawn, both over there and over there, which you can't quite see, which is terrible. In fact, hang on, I'm going to wait till this rain finishes. Okay, that's all done and dusted. So, yeah, that's what I'm sort of thinking. I'm actually getting really partial to this spot. So we'll do some work through the week. We'll decide as a tribe if that's what we want to do, move up here with those water platforms, because that's reasonably central. You can see it's not too bad. I mean, there's no perfect spot, but it's going to be close to a lot of things we want to get at, and we'll see how we go. So, yeah, we'll call that an episode. I think that's a good. I'm going to have a bit of trouble editing that one down. But yeah, I've got a few things to do. It's Christmas evening now. The sun's starting to go down. I've been lucky enough that my family is close by, and we spent the day together, eating and drinking and laughing, and I'm very, very fortunate in that regard. So I'd like to take a quick second before we go to wish you all a happy Christmas or a Merry Christmas and a very, very happy New Year. Don't get into that. Thanks very much for being with us through the journey so far this year. We look forward to making more episodes next year. So, yeah, until then, I'm the captain. This is Drunk Aussie Guy, and we'll catch you next week. Exactly.